At the outset, let me thank Medical for this excellent opportunity to do a webinar on new product development in healthcare. This is very topical today, mostly because of COVID pandemic. It has revealed how helpless we are, and especially in India, how healthcare devices capability needs a lot to be desired. The new product development in healthcare is a complicated subject in the sense it requires many stakeholders. The development of a device itself requires academicians, clinicians with industrial association, and also knowledge of manufacturing and marketing and other regulatory and certifying stakeholders to get a product to market. So therefore, I'm going to give you a nutshell of what is required for a new product development in healthcare. First of all, you would be wondering how much is the need? I can say that we can be on cloud nine because sky is the limit, especially as I said, after realizing how low we are in our preparedness to tackle diseases like COVID. And healthcare is everyone's need as much as food, clothing, and shelter. All our research outputs ultimately lead to the care of our health and longevity. You can take, for example, nutraceuticals, medical textiles, and green technologies. All these are for our healthy lifestyle. If you look at the scope, it is enormous. Let me take the most recent and the most read and known developments during this pandemic. First of all, when the virus hit, we were in dark, but soon we had the diagnosis through RT-PCR, and then the antibody test came, then CT scan and X-rays helped a lot from the beginning. Prophylaxis required vaccines, and we are waiting for vaccine candidates to succeed. But meanwhile, respiratory assist devices have helped a lot. They are helping still. If you come to therapeutics or drug-based control, we didn't have an effective antiviral or anti-COVID drug. We used whatever viral, antiviral drugs we had, but the efficacy was supported by proper administration in ICUs and ventilators. Of course, the most effective, as any time you would agree, is preventive with the masks, shields, sanitizers, and sanitization chambers. In terms of supportive, of course, vitamins helped, but the physiotherapy tools and exercise machines did help, especially at the time when there were lockdowns. Health monitoring among promotion was very, very important and instrumental in bringing down the incidents. And this was done based on the symptoms and using surveillance tools. Even food was prescribed to to boost the immunity. And then there were devices to measure immunity biomarkers. Aerosol measurement in the virus showed how much air was polluted with the virus, and viral biosensors had been developed. The climate, especially the Delhi smog, you would remember, showed how weather conditions aggravated viral infections. IoT enabling was very important in controlling this virus spread, screening for viral infected individuals and providing telemedicine services timely. Public health and logistics was a very big factor, and that led to proper treatment accessibility. And now we are talking about vaccine cold storage and use of drones to reach inaccessible places. Waste management, many disposable waste and non-disposable waste required for treating COVID, they are all now huge hospital waste requiring machines which will destroy them. Even structures, civil structures, required to be changed, and well ventilated housings, hands-free nursing using robotics. All these were outcome of this one disease. So like this, such conditions, medical conditions or health-related conditions open up enormous opportunities. I have not covered many others, but this is suffice to convince you that we are sitting at a very opportune time. And if you look at how to develop a new product in healthcare, first and foremost is driving force. What is your driving force? Whether you are going by clinicians' requirement or public health requirement like COVID or infectious diseases, or you are carried away by a scientist or engineer's perception of the need because they have a very advanced technology like photoacoustic detection of cancer, and then you want to develop the product. Or the next one is to address what is the scale of need. Are you interested to address a large scale need like finding out anemic conditions non-invasively even by individuals, or to address a technically complex instrumentation solution like an invasive procedure by a trained medical? Then when it comes to what you have to really look into next is whether what you're looking for is your driving force is invention based, or are you looking for some new findings like the CRISPR based viral detection, the Feluda, that was developed in our country, which is based on the Nobel Prize winning CRISPR technology, or simply you are interested in some improvisation, innovation, and indigenization, like enabling with IoT or semi or full automation. Again, whether you are interested in your driving force is for import substitution, like several pump and micro pump devices, you can substitute with indigenous technology, or you are looking at brand new product which has not been existing in the world and you want to create one, in which case you have to create the market. Like for example, what we ourselves did in developing an antibiogram device. Okay, once you know what is your driving force, you have to think of what technology you have to adapt to get to the product. We call it product development strategy. You can start with an academic concept and go to a device, like a student project in an academic institution looking for a medical application. Or You know the field very well. You know the field level operation. You know the field users and how do they function and what do they want. And then you go for a device development based on that knowledge, or a lacune in the requirement of devices in the field. So either one you can choose, but these two are two different ball games. But it is, in my opinion, it is always better to go from the field point of view. Or you may know the end user with a line of products you might have identified or you might have already figured out, and you focus on a single application with versions and types. Otherwise, an alternative is you are open. You are not bound by the end user, but you can do diversified products. And this variety of products will be based on the needs existing time to time. So you are more flexible. But again, these two are two different ball games, and you should equip yourself according to this need. Then you could keep your scope of product development narrow and develop only specialized products for specific needs. Or you can keep your scope wider and you can invest and work on platform technologies with multiple applications. Again, different ball game, and it depends on how prepared are you for this technology absorption. Finally, very important point is, what is the technology readiness level that you are looking for? If you are looking for an early stage where it is concept or laboratory prototype, it requires many optimizations and involves unknown risks. Or if you are going at a late stage technology readiness level, then it requires a few well judged steps with minimum risks. So it all depends. It is quite possible an early stage concept or uh, early prototype stage can give you a very new product for which you will have a good market later. Whereas in a late stage, you may be able to get the product into the market easier. But again, it depends on the risks involved and how you are prepared. But I would definitely, for a new product developer, would go with the second option of late stage technology readiness level. Now, coming to product development itself. As I said, this is a huge topic. It's a very wide topic with so many aspects to be covered. And within the given time, it may not be possible to do justice. So what I will do is, I will give you very important tips or advices or knowledge that we have gained from the last 20 years of experience, especially in converting academic idea to market level products, so that you would know what to avoid and what to take in. So in the product path, obviously I am covering from ideation to up to manufacture and market, highlighting very important aspects you should focus on. Idea, of course, is the first and foremost very important. But when you take the idea, as I said previously, you should decide what is your comfort level, and then you choose that type of an idea. And obviously, the next step is to go for a design. And when you go for a design, this is where product oriented research is different from academic research. You should, in your mind, be very clear about how the final product will be as required in the field or as required by the users. And you should have a comparative analysis of what all related things available and how you can make it better. So all paper planning is the most important thing. So the design aspect is what is very important. And this should cover as many novel features as possible, which your comparative analysis would show will give an advantage to your product. You should have all your cost considerations considered here. You should look into component availability because many components even today in India are imported, and therefore their availability to be ascertained. Or if not, if that goes on, what is the alternative? You should be very clear about. So all that at component level, you should think of sustainability. Then when it goes into thousands of units for manufacturing, the scalability should not be a problem. So your design should allow that. And of course, you would like to expand because you would develop more versions of the same, advanced versions, basal versions, mid versions, like that. So it should allow you expandability. Very, very importantly, the regulation and certification requirements have to be built in now. The regulation, it should ensure in healthcare, essentially if it is invasive, should be biocompatible material. Even it comes in contact with the body, you should have a biocompatible material, for example. And certification also requires this type of requirement plus non-interference with the other communication systems, etc. So you should definitely know what are the validation terms that will satisfy the regulation and certification. Finally, of course, when it is in market, user friendliness, robustness, energy efficiency, flexibility, ergonomic design, compactness, all these will decide the acceptability of your market. And definitely, the first level acceptance is by clinical fraternity, and therefore, the presence of clinical expert in the group is very, very important. Okay, once the design for which you can take sufficient time and then do all the paper, all the drawing board level discussions and decisions. You can first to make your breadboard prototype, and that should include all the specifications, and these could be tested for accuracy, precision, specificity, and such other important essential functional properties of your device. And once you are convinced that it has been thoroughly tested for all performance parameters, you can start building the first compact laboratory prototype. Compact laboratory level prototype as shown here, and test it or validate it, simulating the conditions that would exist in the field in your laboratory, and be satisfied that it has a robust performance. So I told you that from the idea to this, you pass through two stages. In the first stage, you can now generate the intellectual property right and protect your design and features and priority. And with your compact prototype in the laboratory, you can be rest assured that the further steps can be easily crossed. So once your laboratory prototype and validations are over and you are able to satisfy with its robust performance, you can build the pre-commercial prototype, which should essentially have all the features that the final prototype will have, only allowing you to make fine tuning to develop it into a fully commercial prototype. Once this prototype is made, you have to make limited manufacturing depending upon the type of device, some 10 pieces, 20 pieces, or even 100 pieces, depending upon what device you have made and what type of validation is required. Then contact several hospitals and validate them. And this is where the presence of clinician in the team is very useful. First of all, he approves of the need and he can talk to the other medical professionals and tell them of the advantage of your device and convince them to validate your prototypes. So this type of clinical association goes a long way in new product development in healthcare. Of course, once you are at the multicentric validation stage, you should vigorously promote. As soon as you have an idea that it is actually going well with the clinicians and their testing, with publications, conferences, you demonstrate in the expos, you give pamphlets for awareness, spreading the knowledge, and media coverage to wider publicity, and promote it in all possible ways. And that if you had already, if you're already developing it as a startup or as a MSME or an entrepreneur, you would pass through certification first and then the regulation for manufacturing and taking it to market. So if you are actually in an academic, you have come up to this stage, you can do a technology transfer either here or in when it is a laboratory prototype, jointly develop, and then help whoever has taken the technology, you can help them with the regulation and the certification parts and help them manufacture and market. So next most important for all this is, in any development, it is money. Where does the funding come? India was not initially known to be very good at product development funding, but that scenario has changed. In the last 10 years, there have been several programs, and in fact, the fundamental science programs have all been transformed into technology support programs. So the same Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, Niti Aayog, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Department of Information Technology, Department of Science and Industrial Research, DRDO, UGC, they have all transformed their schemes to really support individual projects, team projects, consortium projects, bilateral international funding project schemes, grant challenges, which are thematic, and support at all level the product development aid. That is what is going to be Make in India as well as self-reliance approaches of this government. Now, they have also entered into public funding in the sense they can do just not an academic industry collaboration research, but even at the level of industrial collaboration or to industries through DBT BIRAC, a whole range of schemes are there. Department of Science and Technology through its Technology Development Board, then SIDBI, industrial banks, even MSMEs at state and national levels, all these are involved in public funding. And these agencies also have developed national hubs like ours, technology business incubators, technology enabling centers, accelerators, startup support programs, university innovation clusters, Atal innovation centers, tech parks, medtech zones. So all these are tuned towards technology enabling through the entrepreneurs, startups, MSMEs. Apart from that, there is private funding, as you all know, that with venture capitalists, private trusts, private uh, persons, private companies, foreign direct investment, CSIR support. So there are, for healthcare, this has been growing. There has been a tremendous interest in healthcare, especially after pandemic. We are expecting to see a big boost here. I would request you to visit our website, www.nhhid.org, to see for yourself what are the various funding programs. It is there right at the homepage of our website. I have given a snapshot of one of the pages where you can see that a national hub for healthcare instrumentation development has been established in Anna University with the support of Department of Science and Technology, Technology Development and Transfer Division. A unique organization with various institutions coming together, joining scientists, engineers, medicos, veterinary, and other stakeholders, industries, medical associations, government, etc., to develop products for market from academic ideas. So we have been in the business for the past 8 years, and we have learned a lot, and that is what a small part I have shared with you. But however, you can contact us for much more case-to-case basis discussion. And at this stage, I would like the coordinator of NHHID to continue and say how NHHID had developed products and how it can support development of products by others. Okay, thank you.
Good day to all of you. In fact, I'm very pleased that NHHID, Anna University, is taking human steps in commercializing healthcare devices. I'm also very happy that Professor Shankaran has rightfully brought out the fundamentals of science in any product development. That too in healthcare product development, the need for science and technology is most welcome. Further, Dr. Shankaran has also rightfully shown the need for all scientists to bring out products. So every science has to lead to commercialization. So that is the mantra for India and a self-reliant India. I'm Professor Muttan, the coordinator for National Hub for Healthcare Instrumentation and Development. In fact, the National Hub for Healthcare Instrumentation and Development, sweetly called as NHHID at Anna University, has lots of initiatives and roles in healthcare development, device development, and commercialization. In fact, it is the need of the hour that India has to go in for aggressive device development in healthcare. And my dear friends, what is important is every crisis throws challenges. Every challenge creates opportunities. Every opportunity offers innovation. And dear friends, every innovation begins with education, academia. The National Hub for Healthcare Instrumentation, basic primary objective is to promote and facilitate healthcare device development, commercialization by facilitating platform technologies. In fact, this NHHID has been established by Department of Science and Technology, Technology Development Board a decade ago, keeping all this in mind. It is basically with an objective that NHHID has been established. In fact, the NHHID has transformed from basically design and development to product realization and commercialization. It's a journey of excellence experience, challenges, and in fact, as a team, amalgamation of many institutions, we really enjoyed the journey with lots of challenges. NHHID, I wish to tell you, is with the primary objective to convert an idea or a laboratory prototypes into production-worthy engineering product and assist in transfer of technology, whether developed in-house within Anna University or by other DST hubs across India and any other agencies and laboratories. Also, the important uh, step that Government of India and DST has given to us is, in fact, creating a facility which is capable of producing a healthcare product almost to the tune of 50 units of engineering prototype. And these are very much required for multicentric and field clinical trials. What today we are lacking is every education institution of excellence have great ideas, has wonderful design development team. They do come out with a lot of healthcare prototypes. What really we miss is an industry ready, industry worthy healthcare prototype with the multicentric capability of clinical trials is really missing. So this vital last mile connectivity, hitherto not existing in an academic institution to facilitate product commercialization, has been the nerve of our NHHID. I'm sure every one of you would agree with me that connecting ideas, connecting platforms, facilities is the only way forward for successful self-reliant India and vocal for local. NHHID at Anna University has successfully amalgamated many academic research institutions, industries, hospitals, funding agencies, and thereby successfully has promoted many healthcare devices, has given human resource development, has created a very good human resource, and also has come out with very good platform facilities, which are very important for commercialization. This is what is exactly missing. We have excellent research facilities in almost all academic institutions in India, but what is missing is converting those academic ideas into product. So Anna University has this unique facility of converting an idea into a product with its limited manufacturing facility, both in mechanical engineering and electronics. So we have the platform facilities, prototype development is possible, and also we have sophisticated facilities such as calibration, and we serve as industrial R&D arm, consultancy, and we encourage entrepreneurship. So this has been the noble ideas of NHHID. So we have a pan-India presence. NHHID is a national level networking to achieve made in India, by India, and for India. You can see right from Gujarat to Kolkata, Chennai to Chandigarh, almost every corner of India, we have a network, and all of us are working together, collaborating successfully to develop healthcare devices for our India, because self-reliance is the sole objective of future India. Rightfully, for the last 10 years, a decade of its establishment, of its creation, as I told you already that NHHID has successfully brought out many commercial products. All these were initially in the form of prototypes, and NHHID has successfully collaborated with the CMC Vellore and brought out the CMC DAC, which is very unique. And today, this innovatively designed data acquisition system for neuromuscular and cardiac parameter are being marketed by TMI Systems. And let me tell you that TMI System has been our partner right from the inception of NHHID. They have taken a lot of proactive steps and are collaborating with us successfully. And in many cases, you can see this TMI CMC DAC is going to become a household or going to become a very important gadget for hospital equipments. In continuation also, we have a very unique invention, in fact, in the form of antibiogram device developed by Center for Biotechnology and Nanocity in collaboration with IISc Bangalore. It's an inexpensive antibiogram device capable of determining antibiotic sensitivity of bacteria in 6 to 8 hours. Also, we have, in fact, technology transferred RFID-based infant theft prevention system. It has been successfully commissioned and installed and practiced in Rajaji Medical Hospital, Madurai. Also, we have promoted commercially successful synthetic milk tester developed by Nanocity, IIC, and Raman Research Institute, Bangalore. And in continuation of the list, we have leptospirosis, fluoropath device, also suture anchors developed by Biotech, ophthalmic lesions detector, which is also technology transfer. These are all worthy of mentioning, developed by NHHID and University in collaboration with Tanuvas, collaboration with the CMC Vellore, and collaboration with many doctors and engineers and industries. And thanks to all of them who have given their full support to NHHID. And these are the devices that has already gone for technology transfer and commercialization. As I said, NHHID initially started its journey a decade ago as a center for design and development of healthcare devices. By successfully not only developing design and development, the NHHID has showcased its capability of converting these prototypes into successful commercial models. Hence, the next decade, we will fully focus all our energy and synergy towards commercialization of healthcare devices. As you have seen, NHHID, the current model, in addition to leptospirosis, CMC DAC, synthetic milk tester, we are in line for future commercialization like computerized audiometer, nerve stimulator, real-time unitometer is going to take everybody by storm, and you have esophageal stent and infant information system, which is an extension of RFID-based infant theft prevention system. Also, we have our presence in almost all hospitals in Tamil Nadu. We have a very good collaboration with the Director of Medical Education. Almost we have calibrated more than 12,000 medical equipments. And I wish to tell you, dear friends, that NHHID has successfully calibrated more than 12,000 medical equipments across Tamil Nadu. Also, we offer other services such as we facilitate validation requested by either in-house or from other DST hubs or any other agencies. We organize workshops, symposium, and human resource training. And as I said, we are industrial arm, and we offer consultancy in calibration of medical devices. And we are doing a lot of commercialization, as you might have seen by my presentation, project coordination, and other things. This is what I was trying to explain, that we have a very unique facility, and this is again unique in an academic institution. This is first of its kind in India, that Anna University has a very unique testing and calibration center for medical devices. And we have invested more than 1 crore of medical gadgets and analyzers, which will be used to calibrate medical devices across Tamil Nadu. In fact, this model, I'm sure in future would be adopted by every state in India, and we are working on that. And many institutions have shown, many states have shown big interest towards taking up this calibration. Apart from this contributions in the healthcare area, NHHID has really taken a very, very important step during COVID-19. COVID-19 is a pandemic which we never expected to descend onto the human being, and we have seen a very tough and real situation which we never wanted. During this situation, in fact, the NHHID braving threats of this COVID-19, a team headed by Professor Shankaran has successfully come out with the Anna University sanitizer. This sanitizer, normally the sanitizer is capable of destroying the outer cover of the cell, outer wall of the cell. However, the Anna University sanitizer developed by Professor Shankaran and his team has not only is capable of doing this, also it's capable of destroying the left out genetic material, the COVID-19 virus. So it's an extraordinary step towards the safety of our fellow beings, and patent is pending, and I am very happy to tell you that two companies have come forward for taking up this technology. It's a great contribution during COVID and also to the nation. Not only the NHSCD stopped at that level, again we collaborated with Dr. Sendil Velan and his team, and along with Anna University, we have developed a smart thermometer, which is capable of, in fact, is a Bluetooth-based temperature mode connectivity, and it can connect to government apps and display fever cluster. We have developed a fever cluster also with the help of Institute of Remote Sensing in Anna University, and you can see the model of the thermometer. It's also connected to a teleconsultancy system. We have developed a software for teleconsultancy. So in total, this smart thermometer is capable of connecting all the patients to the government app. Another wonderful contribution from NHHID and Anna University is the reusable mask. Today, masks are indispensable in our life. Billions of masks, disposable masks with virus particles, I think would certainly cause environmental stress by huge accumulation and become secondary source of infection. I hope you all agree with me. However, the reusable mask drastically could reduce the environmental burden. So having this in idea, one of our professors from textile department has come out with a very good reusable mask design. Research is an outcome of a research of 2 years, 3 years. It's developed a more efficient uh, mask which is reusable, which could filter aerosols above 2 micron level, and is also much superior to common spun bonded and plain cotton mask largely used by public and sanitary workers. Again, let me tell that using NHHID as a platform, this reusable mask developed by Anna University has been technology transferred and it will be in the market in a few days from now. Further, under NHHID encourages lots of startup companies, lots of other agencies, as I have already pointed out. And one such a startup company which was looking for our help, our assistance in the development of standalone respiratory support devices, and NHHID rightfully gave its fullest support, and the company, startup company, utilized all our services, both in the design, development, and commercialization, and they have come out with a good design of oxygen concentrator and compressor. The greatest advantage is that this ventilator, which is a standalone respiratory support device, does not need a gas cylinder, oxygen gas cylinder, which is almost a mandatory for all ventilators. So some of the parts of this is developed by our own manufacturing facility. Also, a low-cost ventilator has been developed as a smart constant volume ventilator by Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Another important achievement I would like to share with all of you that during the COVID period, all this have been done during the COVID period. In fact, I would like to thank my team, which has braved the threat of this dangerous COVID-19 and came up with so many. And I remember during March to September, we have been every day and night, we have been working for developing such products. And Anna University, a team from MIT, headed by Tyagarajan and Dr. Sivaramakrishnan, and all some of the faculty members and students and technical assistants have successfully developed a robo with the available facility at Anna University. And you can see the photograph we are demonstrating to the director of DME, Department of Director of Medical Education. And this is capable of carrying automatically remotely controlled healthcare robo, which can move among the COVID patients in a ward, and it can supply water, food, and drugs. So thereby, in fact, helping our own healthcare workers not to come in contact with the COVID patients. So this is another wonderful contribution from Anna University, MIT team. And the greatest concept that I would like to tell you is that this particular robo, bits and nuts, has been developed within Anna University with using the same facility. You can see the various parts being fabricated at Anna University. And also I am very proud to tell you that utilizing the manufacturing facility at Anna University, this is what we are trying to project. NHHID is not only a platform for collaborating with many institutions for encouraging design and development, but also a real product can come. So we are now showcasing a model, an internationally world-class model, anti-biogrammar scope, which is capable of identifying the right antibiotic in urinary infections. So this particular equipment, what you are seeing, has been fully developed by Anna University, and such a last mile connectivity of manufacturing we possess. So I would like to give a demonstration of this. Kindly go through this. So this particular device has been promoted by the microbiological lab, an NABL accredited lab situated in Coimbatore. And we would like to thank Dr. Mani in this connection. And another important fact I would like to present to all my friends is that this particular device, when you see, all the internal parts that are being displayed here are fully manufactured with the facility available at Anna University. In fact, Anna University now has the limited manufacturing facility both in mechanical engineering and electronics engineering, capable of really designing a full-fledged healthcare device, not only one, but in batches. So this is a team which is trying to assemble, and finally you have the antibiogrammoscope fully assembled. So right from the scratch concept to idea to a fully functional healthcare world-class device is possible in an academic institution and a unique facility available at NHHID. This is the model that we like to promote. Many such academic institutions should be given this facility, and every institution should be able to produce such wonderful devices, healthcare devices, so that India can progress. And this is what I would like to show. So this is what I said as the last mile connectivity, which is not currently available in academic institutions. All ideas in an academic institution should be finally lead to a full-fledged functional device, and not one device, but we need batch of devices for multi-centric validation, which means the manufacturing facility in an academic institution is very important. In this connection, I'd like to thank the University with the Potential for Excellence, UGC, under the award called the University with Potential for Excellence in Biomedical Engineering and Instrumentation, as awarded to Anna University. We have procured manufacturing facility worth 25 crores. So using this 25 crores, both in mechanical manufacturing and electronics manufacturing, in fact, I'm happy to say that we can meet the most of the needs of healthcare device development and design and development and commercialization. So I would like to there is another video which shows us the manufacturing facility at Anna University, which is available in the net. You can kindly go through that. And finally, this is my last slide. So Anna University would be trying to hardly, in fact, strive to be a single point destination for healthcare device development with its pan-India presence, and with the facilities created under UPE and the expertise with the NHHID, and the R&D facilities right now available, because Anna University has a very good interdisciplinary team. and a very good collaboration with the hospitals, industries, and other institutions. I'm sure, again, I would like to say that Anna University would strive to be a single point of destination for healthcare device development, product realization, and commercialization. And now we have showcased the successful model. An institution, academic institution, can convert an idea into a functional healthcare device and also have batch processing system. Now I would like to pass on to the managing director of TMI Systems, who have been traveling along with us right from the inception, and they have successfully technology transferred many devices in NHHID. Thank you.
Presenting CMC DAC, Data Recording System for Physiology. CMC DAC is a portable 8-channel data recording system. CMC DAC is a small, versatile recording system that is designed for picking up physiological data. This device is suitable for recording physiological signals from humans as it has full electrical isolation. The device is small and compact and easy to handle. The device can be easily carried to any crowded recording site. The device can be used with any desktop PC or laptop or netbook or even a tab which runs on Microsoft Windows. Despite the small size, the sophisticated electronics ensures high quality recording. Coming back to the history of the background of this product, this product is developed out of a joint venture between Christian Medical College Vellore, TMI Systems, and NHHID, DST Government of India. Initially, the Memorandum of Understanding was signed in the year 2014 between all the three stakeholders. CMC Vellore developed this data acquisition system comprising of this electronic hardware, embedded software, and PC application software. The principal architect of this product is Dr. Suresh Devasahayam, Head Department of Bioengineering, CMC Vellore. National Hub for Healthcare Instrumentation and Development, DST Government of India, provided the funding to CMC Vellore for the development of this hardware, the prototype testing and evaluation of this device. Subsequently, the technology was transferred to TMI Systems for commercial production, marketing, and distribution. TMI Systems holds the exclusive marketing and manufacturing rights for this product. Our experience working with NHHID. NHHID provided the bridge between the innovators and the prospective customers. They handhold the innovators at various stages and help them in identifying the right channel partners with whom they can collaborate and take the product to the market. We are very honored to have been associated with Dr. Shankaran, past NHHID coordinator, who helped us to get associated with Christian Medical College Vellore. Dr. Shankaran was always there to give us all the support at every stages, which really helped us to take the product towards commercialization. We are also honored to get associated with Dr. Suresh Devasahayam and his team at CMC Vellore. CMC team were very supportive and provided all their technical support at every stage, which really helped us to take the product to the market. There is still a lot of room for improvements, and we are working towards addressing those issues. We have achieved partial success in this journey. After years of effort, we were finally able to get a breakthrough from All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, and AIIMS Jodhpur. A special thanks to Dr. K.K. Deepak, Head Department of Physiology, AIIMS New Delhi, who has always been a great supporter of indigenously designed and developed products. We eventually would want to reach a stage where the CMC DAC is going to be accepted and used by all medical colleges and hospitals across India. CMC DAC base station, it's an 8-channel data recording system, and you have a USB connectivity for PC interface. Applications of CMC DAC. The device has multiple analog inputs, and each analog input can accept different signals from various sensor modules. Multiple amplifier modules can be plugged in with this base station. For example, ECG amplifier, EMG amplifier, EEG amplifier, pulse, EOG, PCG, respiration, and mechanical pulse are some of the modules that are available. This device is suitable for experimental physiology for recordings from animals and humans. This device is also suitable for clinical recording of physiological data. Various analysis tools are available in the software. For example, spectral analysis, cardiac cycle analysis, spatial plot moving averaging, and wavelet analysis are some of the examples. A separate GUI is provided for the acquisition of biosignals and also for controlling the device and data acquisition. A number of pluggable modules are available. Base station hardware features, 8-channel DAC with 12-bit EDC, USB interface for PC connectivity. The device is powered by USB. The recording side is fully electrically isolated. A lot of additional features are available to control the gain or the sampling rate or the sweep time, and also the recording duration, which is limited by the availability of the space in the hard disk. Number of software features are also available. For example, the playback features or the review or the analysis features are available. Offline analysis can be possible using this software. The data conversion to ASCII is also available. Spectral analysis, moving averaging, spike detection, spike rate calculation are some of the analysis tools. The recorded data can be exported for use with any other software like MATLAB. Software recording, the device can be made to run on computers which work on Windows platform. Sampling rate can be varied from 250 Hz, and the maximum sampling rate per channel can go up to 8000 Hz if only one channel is being put to use. Real-time display of data is possible. Online adjustable digital filters are available. Multiple amplifier modules that can be plugged in with the CMC DAC. This is the ECG amplifier and EMG amplifier. The portability of this CMC DAC is the key feature when it comes to recording the physiological signals from a very crowded recording site. Recording of physiological signals using CMC DAC. Open the GUI, select the desired amplifier modules, select the number of input channels, select the sweep rate and the sampling rate, mention the patient ID, put the selected channel on, select the desired frequency bandwidth, maximize the recording window, apply notch filter if noise is present in the signal. Now you can see the ECG is getting recorded. Analyzing the recorded ECG data. Advantages of using CMC DAC. The device is very small and compact, is powered by USB, and it is very easy to record physiological signals. It is very easy to export the recorded data to other softwares for analysis. Multiple amplifier modules are available. The low cost. The device is indigenously designed and developed in India, and it can be used for both research and teaching purposes. Target market for CMC DAC can be all medical colleges and hospitals, especially for clinical research and teaching purposes. All engineering institutions, especially for electronics and instrumentation labs and biomedical labs. or the pharmacy colleges or the nursing colleges for teaching. Partial client list for CMC DAC. CMC DAC is being currently used in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, AIIMS, Jodhpur, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, National Institute of Technology, Rourkela, Morarji Desai, National Institute of Yoga, Delhi, Central Institute of Technology, Kokrajhar, Assam, and various private universities like Amrita University, Coimbatore, VIT, Vellore, KL University, and many other academic institutions across India. Opportunities presented during this COVID-19 pandemic situation. There is a huge requirement in hospitals to ramp up the existing infrastructure, especially for pre-screening and diagnostic applications. Some of the key requirements would be to have more of SpO2 modules or capnography modules, non-invasive blood pressure monitoring devices, and an assistive respiratory measurement or monitoring devices.